Thank you. I also want to welcome everybody here tonight. The thing about being further down the list, you start to get some repetition here, so I'll try not to do too much of that with you tonight. My name is Steve Fisher, and I'm from Cochranton up in Crawford County, not too far from here. And I've lived there for about 18 years with my wife and children. And people ask me why I'm running for election. I've never run for a race before. But the reason is quite simple. I think Kathy Dahlkemper needs to go home. And I think a lot of the other As I said, I've got 3 children and a grandson, and I'm very concerned, as Mike Kelly said. It's the next generations that we're putting quite a burden on them right now. And we need to do something a little bit different to help them out. The picture is not very bright for them. My son just got told that he's losing his job shortly. So he was just down in Charlotte interviewing. He's supposed to be going to Alaska. He's gone to South Africa. He's gone to Ecuador, because there's not a whole lot of jobs available up in northwest Pennsylvania right now. So the concern for me is, what do we do to change this country, to turn things around? As you've heard already, we need to change the incentives for the employers. We need to change the taxes. I met with a couple of large employers up in Erie. One of them has 100 employees and said he could hire 10 to 20 people right now. But he's afraid of this administration. He's afraid of what's coming from them, so he's not hiring anybody. He's making do with what he has. He's afraid of the taxes that are going to be coming to them, the health bill that's going to be coming to them. Talked with another employer with about the same number of employees, and he just picked up a $7.4 million order. And I said, great, you're going to be able to recall some people that were laid off. And he said, nope, I'm not bringing anybody back. And I said, why? He says, I'm not doing the work up here. It's going to Mexico. When I asked him why it's going to Mexico, I said, wages? And he says, no, I get to avoid a lot of regulations. And those are things that we have to look at. Paul talked about it, looking at the regulations that are there. If it's regulations that are safety regulations that they're avoiding, I'm sorry, I don't want those products coming back to the States, like the lead paint from China. If it's regulations that are just making it difficult to do business, then we have to look at those regulations and we have to make changes so it's a friendlier environment for the employers. And that's a lot of what we have to do. We saw the health bill. I've had 26 years experience in the health insurance industry. 10 years of that was on the administrative side, as I helped to develop and run 2 regional health plans. If you've heard of Vantage, which is the local hospital network, I was involved with that. I was the 4th full-time employee. They have about 400 now, but I was vice president of marketing, and I ran their health plan. And then I helped form Alliance Health Network and ran the marketing for that. So I understand what goes involved, or what goes into the health plans, with negotiating with the providers, the doctors, the hospitals, the labs, with negotiating with the insurance companies, with developing plan designs that will bring down rates. I've got a lot of experience in that, and I have to tell you, that is a big burden right now on the employers that are out there. This bill is a terrible bill, and we need to either repeal it or replace it. Congressman Thompson was telling us it would be difficult to repeal it until Obama's out of office because he can veto, so what they want to do is surgically repair it in some areas. The problem that I have there is if you surgically repair it to the point where people get comfortable with it, then they may not want to replace it, and the bill itself does need to be replaced. I have an employer with 150 employees, as an example. 40 of them are full-time and on benefits. 110 are part-time, and that's because they choose to be part-time. Kids are in school or whatever the case is. This employer said, my operating expenses need to be maintained at a certain level. So with that bill, I'll probably end up with 60 or 70 part-timers. The rest of them are going to lose their job. That's not going to help our economy. This health bill, everybody said it was dead. A couple weeks later, it was passed. We've heard the same thing about cap and trade. No, it's not going to go through. Folks, I'm sorry. I think cap and trade is something they're going to try pushing through too. It's been moved back just a little bit because the amnesty for illegal immigrants has been moved forward. And these are things that when we get to Washington, we have to act real quick. My concern is what's Obama going to be doing between now and January next year when people take seats. Is he going to be trying to rush things through? I'm afraid he is. The other one that I'm concerned about, they're talking now, is the VAT tax. That's another one that we have to stop. I'm for the fair tax. The flat tax, not everybody's paying. Fair tax, everybody is, but I want to make sure we lock in a rate so people don't see it going up 23, 25, 28, 30, etc. The one point I want to remind people of before I leave, I've said this from the very beginning, we're supposed to be a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. My mission is to bring Washington back to the people and to bring common sense government back to Washington, because that's what's missing. And this isn't about me or any of them. This is about you. We're going to represent you. I'm going to represent you. So May 18th, please vote 3rd. Remember, 3rd position for the 3rd district. Thank you and have a good night.